there was this one night that all of a sudden everything just changed. The whole, like, just the energy, you could feel like every hair just like lifted, it felt like there was some like big person in front of you, like that feeling. And, so I froze.
All right, guys, we are back. And this week we are with Shari DeBenedetti. Did I say that right, Shari?
Yes.
Perfect. Oh my God, I did it. So you guys don't know, but I've been rehearsing this for like 10 minutes behind the scenes because I was like, I don't want to screw your name up. But it's Italian, is it? Is that Italian? You kind of got the Italian vibe to you. Yeah. Like I could picture you as
all Italian.
like an extra on The Sopranos, or maybe a main character.
Oh, I don't know.
Like if you were on The Sopranos as an Italian, do you think that you could make it as a main character? Like as an Italian American?
With the way that I talk, maybe.
Okay. Like, do you think you could do mob stuff if you had to? Like,
I think if that's the only way that I could get all of this out and do what I really want to do is acting. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Because then I can do mob stuff and go after people and, sorry, too much TMI. Yes.
Yeah. I think you can make it as a main character on The Sopranos. Am I perpetuating Italian stereotypes already? Am I already being a dick on this podcast? I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay.
I'm just messing with you. I've been watching The Sopranos over. That's why I was like, oh, Italian, like, it was the first thing that popped to mind.
Yeah.
Anyways, Shari, so for people who might not know you because you never had that chance to be a main character on The Sopranos, who are you and what do you do and why are we chatting today?
I am I've been a paranormal investigator for almost 30 years, but I have been on Ghost Hunters starting season 10. I started filming with them in 2014. And then I did a few seasons with them. And then I was also on Ghost Nation season 2 with them. And I'm still with the team. We're still doing some things together. But that's me.
Yay. So, I guess the other question I always ask everybody is, how did you get into this whole ghost hunting thing? Like, I know that you've been associated, and working with the TAPS guys. Was it TV first or was it ghost first? And then you just kind of found your role within the show. Like, how'd that go down?
So, approximately 30 years ago, I was living in a house that had a lot of activity going on. It was going on for a long time. The regular, the footsteps, the voices, knocking, doors opening and closing, lights turning on and off and all that stuff. But there was one particular night where when I came home from my boyfriend at the time, I came home from his house, got ready for bed, got into bed. And as soon as I got into bed, something grabbed my ankles, like they put their hands around my ankles and put my ankles to the bed. And so I kind of like lifted up to see, like what was going on. There was nothing there, but then they grabbed my wrists and pushed my wrist down to the bed. And so my body went down. And then I was trying to yell out to my parents down the hall, but nothing was coming out. And then they put their hand over my mouth and pushed my head down. And then a doppelganger of my boyfriend at the time appeared at the bottom of the bed. So at first it was, am I at his house? Is he here? Like, I couldn't understand how he was in my room. And then eventually I got back to, I'm being held down. So then he came around, he kind of just like leaned over to me and it was just like, he was just staring at me and he didn't have everything about him was him. The clothes, the hair, everything, but I couldn't see his face. So this part of his face was just, it was just, if you look outside at the, the midnight and it's just like that distant black look, that's how his face was. And then I don't know for how long, I have no idea, but then he just kind of got up and then he started walking. When he was walking, I heard like the footsteps in the carpet and I heard the your thighs when the clothes hit the thighs, thighs hit the clothes, whatever.
Yeah.
And I heard that noise, and then he kept walking towards the door, and then that's when I saw that there was nothing from his knees below. There was nothing there, and the door opened up in the hallway. It was like a glow. The lights weren't on. It was just a glow. He walked out. The door closed behind him. The lights went off out there, and then everything was lifted off of me. Ever since then, it took a very long time to go to bed. Like I'd have the TV blasting because I didn't want to hear any, the footsteps and everything. I had the lights all on. I didn't want to see any of that. The closet door was completely, that light was on. So it took a very long time to be comfortable. It took like every single night I would hate, like, oh God, it's bedtime again. Like I would be a nervous wreck having to go upstairs, going into the bed. I did sleep downstairs quite a few, but then the whole house just made me nervous.
Sure.
But it was always worse, obviously, in my room because of what happened.
Well, if somebody was listening to this, like a skeptic, for example, they might say, well, Shari, it just sounds like you were having like a nightmare or sleep paralysis.
Right.
But the way you're describing it, it didn't seem like that to you. So not trying to bust your chops or anything, but how do you know that was actually like a paranormal experience and not something like sleep paralysis or a nightmare or something like that?
Well, okay. So the house had a lot of activity to begin with. My mother was always seeing somebody. We didn't see anybody, but my mother was always seeing people around the house. I know that I just laid down, so I wasn't sleeping. I was able to move. When sleep paralysis, you're just kind of, you can't move. So, I was getting up, I was trying to talk, in my head. So I was able to move and all that. And I know I wasn't sleeping. So it definitely wasn't sleep paralysis.
Well, that couldn't have been a nightmare either because you were awake.
I just went to sleep and there was no drinking. There was no drugs. There wasn't any of that stuff.
Yeah. By the way, so I can see on my screen what Carter is Googling over there. And right now he's Googling how to attract a ghost that will hold me down and choke me.
That was supposed to be private browsing, Tim.
I know, but I can see everything.
I'll send it to you later.
Yeah. Carter's like, what's your secret?
I have another story for that too later on.
Well, before we go any further, that is what we call a lie. I did not see that at all. I made that up, but it was pretty funny because I was like,
I was like, is there something going on the screen that I don't realize?
Nah, we just, we're all good friends here. So, you've been doing this 30 years. So I imagine that was over 30 years ago. So maybe you were like a teenager at the time when that happened, or like, I'm just guessing here. Maybe you were like 8. I don't know.
It was in my 20s.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I'm old. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Nobody cares about that. What does Jay-Z say? 60 is the new 20. I think that's how that song goes. Anyways, that's what I'm telling I just turned 46, which is old for me because I look like
I'm older than you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guarantee you I feel older than you. And most people will think that I'm older than you. Like most people look at me and be like, that dude's 62. I do have nice skin though. I don't know where I'm going with that. I was told that the other day. They're like, you have really nice skin.
All of a sudden it's a commercial. I don't know.
It's City Miles, Tim.
Try our moisturizing product. Ghost City Goo. Just spray it all over your face.
That's another commercial.
That's not a commercial. That's a porno. Anyway, so everything you just described, to a normal person, somebody who's not in this world that we kind of live in, most people would be like, screw that. Like, I don't ever want to experience anything like that again. And they would try to, I would think most people would actively live their life trying to avoid the paranormal. But you went in the opposite direction. You said, screw it. I'm going to dive right in and see what's going on here. So are you just overly brave? or were you driven by curiosity, or how did you?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to know what the hell was going on in the house. So when we first moved into the house, there was nothing going on. There was just nothing. And then all of a sudden, things just started happening. And there was actually a night. So my basement had my gym. And so I worked out every single night. And there was this one night that all of a sudden, everything just changed. The whole, like, just the energy, you could feel like every hair just like lifted, it felt like there was some like big person in front of you, like that feeling. And, so I froze. And since that night, things are going on. So something happened. I don't know how, I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't really know. I did believe in the other side just because there's like things going on, but I didn't really know much about it. And so between that and another night, my aunt was coming up the stairs. She was staying over from out of town. My door swung open and like slam open. And so I'm yelling at her, like at like soprano. And, so we were just going, and then she goes, does your bird hang upside down? Like, is that normal? I'm like, no, my bird doesn't hang upside down. I found out later that cockatiels do go upside down. I've never seen it upside down in the 8 years. But I guess it was hanging upside down. Then all of a sudden, the bird's flying around the house. And I'm like, what the hell? So it was locked up in the cage. And all of a sudden, it's like free. So this something opened up the door for it or whatever. So I was trying to go calm the bird down. My aunt goes into my mother's room. She's telling her what's going on. And then things like fly out of her closet. So it's like things like that. What the hell's going on? Like, who is it? What is it? And then after I was held down, that's when I realized, like, oh my God, like they have that much strength. They can do that to us. And that's when I got like really nervous. And so, what is this? Can it happen again? Can it get worse? And like, what's going on? I just wanted to see like what the hell is going on. And obviously I didn't want things getting worse than that. But I did, a lot of times I would have to wait until somebody was home. Like I would stay outside of my car and just be like, I'll just wait until somebody gets home because I don't want to go inside the house by myself.
And find your bird hanging upside down. I didn't know they do that anyways.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
By the way, next time tell people you have a bird first, because you said that and I thought it was something else. You're like, my bird's always hanging upside down. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, mine too. You have a cockatiel or a cockatoo?
It was a cockatiel.
Oh.
Yeah, this was, again, 30 years ago. It's not here anymore. But I didn't know that they hung upside down.
Yeah.
Never happened to me. So, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But
okay, so now you have two incidences. You're being held down. You have that. Now you're afraid to go in your house unless somebody's there. But still somehow you ended up on this track where you're purposely putting yourselves in these haunted situations where those things could occur to you again. And that's where I'm trying to figure out, like, why didn't you just stop? I know you said you're curious and you want to figure it out, but at some point, like, I would like to figure out, why sharks eat people, but I'm not going to go put myself in the ocean where I continually get bit to try to figure out why.
Figure it out though, right?
Yeah, but I'm not, I don't have to be the one to figure that out. So what was it that just kept pulling you back in other than just, basic curiosity? Because I feel like there's probably something else. There's some other reason. Like maybe you needed to understand why those things were happening to you or something.
Well, I did. I don't know. I just wanted just to try to figure out what it is. I mean, is it, I hate the word demonic, but is it something really bad, or is it just doing whatever? Like, I have no idea, but if something is holding me down, why? What are they going to do? Are they going to do something later on worse? Like, I have no idea. So I did want to figure out like what this could be. So it was more, it was back then. So reading books and trying to do that type of research, ghost spirits and all that. It was very difficult to talk to people back then because you don't people.
Yeah. I get it.
So when I did talk to some people, they were just like, yeah, I don't believe in that, but they all have a story. So you just like try to hear like all these stories of, of some other people. And then some people were like, oh yeah, come to my house because I got something going on too. So then I would go to their house and see. So it was kind of like little by little, I was seeing like the differences between, different things. And then I got to the point where I wanted to help others going through the same thing. So that's when I really started kind of like getting into it. We just had the recorders. We had our little Sony cam because that was the only, cams that we can use. So I just had general stuff. And then I would just kind of go around. And then eventually, when I felt more comfortable, started a team. And then we would just help homeowners. Because, I know what it feels like it's horrible. Like that's kind of like your safety area, your safe zone, and to not have, be able to go there and not to be able to go to sleep in your own bed, So that's what I wanted to do. So I just kept going and going. And of course, in this field, it's more experience on, on experience. It's not like you're just telling stories and learning things, So I just went there. Eventually, my team stopped for certain reasons, and nothing paranormal. But
it's never because of paranormal reasons.
never. So the same year that I stopped, so I got divorced that year.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which maybe, and then people are like, oh, well, maybe the spirit was trying to tell you, don't go with him because that was the doppelganger. Yeah. So I'm like, well, maybe.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking the whole time too, because you preface the story with ex-boyfriend, and the whole time I'm thinking, well, like maybe that should have been a hint or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It was just like, it was like my boyfriend then, and then it was my ex-husband. Yeah, so sometimes I say either one, I don't know. But so we're not together. So I was getting a divorce. One of the people on our teams was killed by an accident, motorcycle accident. And then something else happened. Oh, I lost everything on my computer. My laptop completely crashed. So everybody that I was working with and everybody that I worked, with in the past, everything was completely gone. Wow. So I was like, you know what? Done. I need to take a little break. And that's when I was talking to Jay. Now I met Jay, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Around 2000 or something. And he used to do like these tap events with Grant. And that's how I met them a long time ago. So
and when you say Jay, just for the people who don't know, you're referring to Jason and Grant.
I'm sorry, from Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I know. I forget.
That's all right.
So I met them a long time ago, and then I'm going through this. So I would always ask Jay, like, oh, this is going on. What do you think about this? So I did ask him many questions over all these years. And anyway, when the time came, I stopped doing what I was doing, and then they needed a person for the show. Some things I won't get into. So that's why I stop. I'm like, I'm not going to tell that story. But so he just asked, and I just happened to be available. And so
the rest is history, as they say.
How I got into, how I got into that show. So, but he did, he helped me out a lot.
Sure.
With learning, trying to do whatever I can do. And helping the people. But that's why I really got into it, because I know it's real. It's happened, so I believe the people, whenever they say, of course, you have to go through everything, the debunking and going through all of that. But it's also teaching everybody, like just don't assume everything is a spirit. You got to go through, like most of the time it's, call the electrician, call the plumber, call the pest control, call a doctor, that's
Call
most of your answers. Yes. And that's most of throughout the whole 30 years. That's pretty much, that's most of it.
Well, I mean, I think, one of the things people don't realize is when you get into this field, in order to stay with it for like as long as you have, like you have to be comfortable with the fact that most of your time is going to be spent on non-paranormal things. And I think TV and YouTube and all this stuff has conditioned people to think that when you're a paranormal investigation, it's just action all the time.
Right.
And it's definitely not. As a matter of fact, most of the time it's not even paranormal.
No.
But then I feel like people get disappointed when it's not paranormal. I've seen some of these videos on YouTube where I'm like, that's not paranormal. But they go through this exercise where they're trying to convince themselves that, oh no, that's not the pipes in the wall. That's an angry ghost.
Yeah.
Or in today's world, everything's a fucking demon for some reason. Must be a demon banging on the walls.
That's like I'm like, okay, well, in 30 years, I've never come across, you come across with angry ones.
Yeah, sure.
They've said nasty things. They've done, whatever. But to say a demon, like the person that held me down, I don't even call that a demon. Like,
yeah, I think it's like, and I'm not, kind of like what you said a little bit ago. It's like, I'm not going to get into this subject right now. Like, I think I know where that all started, like, I'm not going to mention any names. No. But it seems like, that's, it's like people think that's the cool thing. Like they're drawn to danger, right? Like the people who want to jump out of planes and all this other stuff. And, when it doesn't happen, they'll just invent it in their head. Everything's a demon. I've been doing I haven't been doing this 30 years. I've been doing this about, I don't know, 22, 23 years. I've only ever came across one of those things. And I don't like calling them demons either, because I'm not like a religious guy, even though I kind of wish I was. Paul brought me a Bible. What did I do with it? Did Paul steal my Bible? Like,
it's on your table.
No,
or the small table.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. So like I have my Bible and Paul wants me to read it because he's a good Catholic. And he's trying to proselytize me into becoming, Catholic.
I don't know how good of a Catholic he is. He stole that from a hotel.
That's true. He did. It's really like, look at it. It's even
it's the Gideon Bible.
Yeah, the Gideons who put the Bibles in all the hotels.
Oh God.
But Paul's like, you need some God in your life. But so not being a religious person right now, it's hard for me to wrap this idea about my mind around this concept of like there are evil things sent in this world to corrupt men. You know what I mean? And women too. You know what I mean? Mankind.
Yeah.
Like we discussed this last week with somebody, whoever we were talking to, and I was like, people don't need the help to be evil. Like they're just, they could just do that on their own. But yeah. Anyways, I've only encountered one of those things, and it was definitely different. Like it was not a ghost or like you typically think of. And I'm not going to get into the whole story, but yeah, they're not something that you come across in every location that you go to.
I mean, if somebody a long time ago, when people used to say certain things, something would kind of trigger in my head, like, I don't know, I don't know. So I would call a demonologist to go and help because I'm not going to do anything. I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to go there and piss it off even more. I don't know. So I'm going to send an expert over there to figure that out. So that's kind of how I, whether it was a demon type of thing or whatever it was, I don't know. But I just kind of got this thing where I don't think I should be going there, so I didn't. And not to say that there isn't anything, like I just,
don't
there's
know.
so many things out there. Who the hell knows? But yeah, I just haven't come across. Having said that, so I'll tell you the other story with another ex-boyfriend.
Oh God. How many ex-boyfriends do you have? Well, I mean, I guess, you are an adult. You are.
Two.
Oh yeah, just two. Okay. I totally believe you.
Just the two.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I don't know if you're being sarcastic and I'm insulting you. I'm like, I totally believe you. Anyways,
No.
yeah. So what happened?
So we lived in a. I didn't live with him, but I lived in an apartment after I got a divorce. We lived in an apartment, and it was the. I don't know if you ever heard of the Danvers mental asylum.
Yeah, I have heard of that, but I don't know why. But I recognize that name. Yeah.
So it's in like the movie Session 9. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No.
So it's the asylum in Danvers. I'm near Salem.
Uh-huh.
And so, and I lived there for a few years. And so my neighbor, moved in. So I don't know, we started dating. But he had a lot of stuff happening in his apartment. And it would be, he would come home, all the doors would be open, sliding glass doors, all the doors, the windows and everything. Another day, all the electrical stuff just completely broken. Another day, all the just 1,000 flies like all in his windows. Just weird things like that. And then there's another day where he came home, and that's probably, I don't know, say, maybe like 2 feet. When your phone, when you're charging it, the little bolt that was like engraved in the wall. So it was like perfectly engraved. He didn't really have any, he didn't really have much. So he didn't really have like a sharp knife.
All right.
But, so it was like engraved in the wall. And I was like, what the hell is going on in this apartment? And, yeah, so of course I went over there with some stuff, and it wouldn't talk to me. It was really only just him.
Okay.
And so he didn't believe in any of this stuff, So when he met me, he sees like candles and skull stuff and whatever. And he's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
So whatever, we just really didn't talk about that subject too much. But then all these things started happening in his apartment. And he's like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, well, you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So then eventually we started talking about so he lost his child, and he didn't want to think about the other side. Like, no, there is no other side,
right.
And everything. You believe what you want to believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. Like, that's not my thing. I'm here to help you if you believe in the paranormal, but I'm not here to tell you what to believe. And you have your own thoughts and opinions. I don't care. And so eventually he was starting to believe. I was trying to talk to the daughter, being like, you know what? He's not going to believe me. You have to do whatever you can do on the other side to make him believe, because he's not going to believe me. So I don't know if that's what all this stuff started. Maybe. I have no idea. So anyway, so he moved out of there and moved into another place. So he was about to go outside to go and have a smoke, and I was just turning on the TV remote control. And I looked back, so we were talking, I looked back at him, and all of a sudden I see him getting picked up and thrown backwards. So it's like if somebody picked you up from the front and just like picked you up and threw you. So he like went off, and it maybe the span was probably about 12 feet. So he went up and down, and then he slid, and then he hit his head on the stairs.
That's pretty severe. Like I've seen somebody get picked up one time, but it was like just a little bit off the ground. Like I never saw anything like that, what you're describing. That's crazy.
Yeah. So again, I wasn't scared because it didn't affect me. Like I didn't have like any of these feelings or anything. It was just like, okay, whoever this is, get the hell, leave him alone. Of course, he's freaking out.
Yeah.
And
I like how you're like, my boyfriend got thrown across the room by an invisible force, and I didn't really have any feelings about it. Like, it is what it is.
Sorry if you're watching.
That's all right.
Yeah. He's an ex, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, after that, he was starting to pick up. Okay, like there's something going on, right? Because some things you just can't explain. How the hell you can't explain all the other things going on in that place in the apartment. But to have that happen, so I'm like, do you believe me now? Like, what's going on? And, but ever since then, he talked about it more. Everything was more open. And then he started to like feel his daughter. He's like, holy crap. He's like, this is amazing. And so something changed in him. He started to believe, he started to talk to her, and stuff like that. And everything just like calmed right down. And then we broke up. So, I just think that we were just, and people put together for certain reasons. It's like, okay, well, this one's done. Yeah.
You know how like every like paranormal celebrity, they write a book, or at least a lot of them do. So I don't know if you've wrote a book or not. I didn't.
No, people keep telling me to. I've been trying for about 8 years now and haven't.
So I think I have something that's going to help unlock your writer's block. I think that you should put together a book on your, journey in the paranormal, and all these things have happened to you, but each chapter should be a new ex-boyfriend. Like, as in like, ex-boyfriend.
Chapters, no, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, they'd be 2 really good chapters. But okay. I'm sitting here thinking, I like coming up with novel ideas of doing it. I'm like, nobody's ever done that before. Maybe that's an interesting angle,
And then nobody will ever go out with me again. Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Unless they want to be a chapter, I guess. Yeah.
That's how you could do your dating profile. So are you ready to be the next chapter in my book?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, you don't have to do that. That's probably a really dumb idea, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So, you've had all these weird things happen to you, these people around you. But, for you've kind of taken it a little bit further than just going to look for ghosts or having these things happen to you. Like I said, when we were talking about Penhurst, one of the things you kept bringing up was the research side of things that you do. And how, like, you're not satisfied with just knowing there's a ghost there. You're kind of interested in who, what, and why as well. So at what point in your paranormal journey did that actually start becoming important to you? Not just that there's a haunting here, but why is there a haunting here?
It started really early, just because I was always trying to figure out who the hell that person was in our house.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we moved out, so I could never find out. So whenever I go to somebody else's house, I'm always, asking about their family members, if they knew any history of the location. In the beginning, I didn't go to, like the town hall or the library, because I guess I just wasn't really thinking about that. I don't know. So I would just kind of ask the people who they might think it is family members, and just kind of like go off of that, of who it could be. Like, let's try to solve this problem. Are they here? Are they trying to tell you something? Do they need something? Do they want something? Is it a stranger? Is it the past owner? Do they not like something you to do that? I don't know. Like, you have all these questions, but to solve it, you kind of have to know who you're talking to so you can help solve it.
Well, why do you think it's important to solve it?
Sometimes it gets everything to be settled down. Like, I feel like the other side, maybe they need to communicate somehow. Or why all of a sudden are you doing this? What do you need? Am I supposed to know something? Are you trying to tell me something? I don't know. I always just felt like you need to know who, what, when, where, how, why. It's a little problem that you're solving, and you're helping the homeowners because they want to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
What about, for example, one of my early investigations, there was a young boy. He just turned 16. His sister, maybe 12 or something, and his mother. They lived in a house. Nothing ever happened to the daughter. So I'm like, all right, the daughter doesn't need to be here. Just the mother and the son. And so now they lived in. So the woman lived in her grandfather's house that he built. And her father would never go back into the house because the grandfather was very abusive, drinks a lot, whatever.
Yeah.
And so And so now the grandson was having a lot of stuff happening. Just all of a sudden, just things were moving. The door was jiggling, the footsteps, and he was like getting really, really nervous. And so that's when she called me. And every once in a while, she would see things also, but it wouldn't really scare her. It was really scaring the son, though. So then I went in, and long story short, it ended up being that grandfather. So the son's great grandfather ended up being him trying to scare the crap out of this kid because now that he's 16, he's drinking and driving.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, so it just came right through the recorder, and he kept repeating himself, like so-and-so is drinking, so-and-so is drinking, and so the mother leaves, and I'm like, you need to tell me the truth. I'm like, the only way that we can solve this problem and, is you need to tell me the truth. Like, I'm not here to judge. I don't care. I'm just here to help you. And he ended up telling me whatever. And so I'm like, well, it's up to you to tell your mom. I'm like, you really should say something. Yeah. And so when she came in, they talked. Okay. And the grandfather was still, because maybe if the kid was just like, this is like insane. So there's a lamp right next to his head, and the lamp it was like if he went like this to the lamp, and the lamp was like, shit. He's like, holy shit. I'm like, he's making sure that you really understand what's going on. He's like, I do. And and then also through the recorder, because I had the woman talk to her grandfather, and talk about the family, because they know each other's family. They can talk to each other, whatever.
Yeah.
And she was talking, and she said something about, Dad won't even come into this house because of the way that you treated him, yada, yada, yada. And he apologized. So he's like, I'm so sorry. And, and she's like, oh my God, and so I'm like, that's good. I said, your dad needs to hear that, And of course I did a little, the review afterwards, so she got the family coming over, and I put all the videos and everything together, and the father wouldn't come into the house. And so I went outside. I'm like, listen, I really need for you to hear this. Like, you need to hear this with your own ears. Just come in for 5 minutes. And I talked him into it. He came in, and I did the thing. And so, and he would hear his dad's voice saying, I'm so sorry.
Right.
So then he started tearing, and then everybody started tearing, and then I started tearing, so it gets very emotional, when they have that whole like family thing going on. But I mean, after that, then everything just stopped. It was like, I'm here to save my great grandchild before he gets into an accident, drinking and driving, and then saying, sorry to, him and everything. I don't know. It's just amazing when that all comes together.
The whole time you're telling me this story, and I know it sounds like I'm trying to be funny. I'm really not. Everything that's going through my mind is like, shit, like, what can grandma and grandpa actually see me doing? Like, like that I don't want them seeing, because if, great grandpa in that situation is like, hey, I noticed that you're drinking. Well, and by the way, these are the interesting things for me about the paranormal. Like, when we get things like that, like EVPs and stuff, and like on the surface, it's like, oh, grandpa, great grandpa is giving you advice or trying to prevent you. But when you start actually realizing what that means, one, they can see. Right. And I know people like you and I that have been doing this for a while, we may take that for granted. Like they can see, like they can think, they have reasoning, like this is bad for my great grandson. I need to get him to stop. Right. Which is, kind of mind blowing on one hand, and it's scary on the other, because like I said, there's things that I do in my private life that I would not want my dead relatives watch me do. But they might.
I always... I do like I'm always like talking. I feel like I'm always talking to myself, but that times they're around, and I'm like, no bedroom and no bathroom. Okay. Everything else is fine. But
Yeah, but I have a feeling that
public.
like they're just going to do whatever they want because they're like, okay, Sherry said no bedroom or bathroom, but I'm dead. I don't give a shit what she has to say. I'm going to do what I want. Like, because if I was a ghost, that's what I would do. Like, I wouldn't go in the bathroom on people. That's just weird. I don't even like when people are near. I don't even like when my wife is in the house and I have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, can you go to the neighbors? It's not that bad, but yeah. I mean, what about you, Carter? Like, I imagine that you have some dead relatives and stuff like that. Are you ever concerned that they might be observing you in some not so great situations? Or
Yeah, no, the thought has definitely crossed my mind a bunch of times, especially with my Catholic upbringing. But because you like to believe that your loved ones are in a better place, and if from my belief system that they are able to kind of have omniscient levels of sight and seeing, and so they would be looking down upon me while I
do stuff,
do naughty things.
Yeah.
And I prefer not to think about it.
Yeah, me neither. But it just pops in my mind.
It does it can help prevent bad activities if you do kind of believe that.
Yeah, maybe it hasn't stopped me. The other interesting thing that you said, Sherry, that I'm always trying to like make connections like between things and taking examples from one thing and applying it to another area and seeing if it makes sense. And by the way, I didn't realize that you were brought up Catholics. Now I feel bad every time I pick on Catholics, even though I do it with like good intentions.
Oh yeah, no, Paul and I went to the same Catholic high school.
Oh, well, congratulations. I guess.
Every time you make fun of Paul or tease him, I
feel the pain too.
No, I just kind of sit in the back and be like, all right, yeah, I get it, Paul.
Well, what I was thinking is, this idea, because you had mentioned that the great grandfather like just wanted the kid to like admit it to your parents, almost like, as a way to stop. But then I'm sitting here thinking, like, is that how Catholics came up with confessionals? Where it's like you go into this booth and you admit what you're doing, and then it somehow like makes your soul clean again, and like you're good to go with the other side. Is it similar?
He didn't specifically say you need to come out with it. That was me saying, I'm not religious, but that's me saying, you need to talk to your mother. You need to say this because I know if my kid was doing it, I'd want to know.
Yeah.
This is like a life and death thing. Something could really, bad happen. So my thing was, you should really talk to your mother. I don't want to sit there and say to the mother, well, I talked to him, but I can't tell you what it is.
Right.
I don't want to get in the middle of anything. Thank God he said, okay, I'll talk to him. But the reason why he did was because he got so scared of, like, oh my God, my great grandfather's here, like talking to me, and he's doing all these things. So he was really scared. So I'm glad that they did talk about it.
Yeah.
And then they can, do it. And she understands because there's the alcoholic issue.
Yeah.
So now she can watch out for him and, and do whatever. But
this is another thing that's going to sound like I'm joking, because I joke a lot, maybe even too much on this show. But I'm actually being serious. So I don't know how long ago this was, like 15 years ago or something, when I started to realize, I was like, wait, ghosts can actually observe the world around them, so to say. But then I got this idea that, like, how do I get them to report back to me? So like in my spare time, I was trying to create like a ghost spy brigade where like I could talk to ghosts and they'd go spy on people for me and then come back and tell me what's really going on. It never worked. And I don't know why, because in theory it should. Like if a ghost can go, where it wants and it observes things, and it can come back and like tell me things. So I'd be like, all right. Like at the time I was dating like this really shitbag woman. And like, I was like, all right, like I need you to find her and tell me if she's actually cheating on me or not. And, I'd give it a little bit of time, and then I'd try to do an EVP session again. And I never got like an answer. But I still think that idea has merit. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, well,
no, but
like, maybe they could be like your little spies.
So what I've been doing here the last
Oh my God, have you been turning them into spies too? Or trying to?
No, but I have, like the dead bell.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Dead bell.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, though. Yeah.
So I've been having it here.
Mm-hmm.
And I just been testing it. Like you should test your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And, we got things going on here. So I'm like, all right, so I was testing it and it was going on. So I'm like, all right, 1 bell for yes, 2, two things for no and whatever. And all of a sudden things were coming through. So I'm like, oh, so then I started talking to whoever it was. And pretty much it's been like my sister-in-law, my father, my grandfather, and they would just come in, but then I would have to ask, like all these other questions to see if it's real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and then I would ask, what's, hey, what's going to happen in a week? What's going to happen in 2 weeks?
Right.
It's like, so I have like a list of all these answers of what they gave to me. And then, so I was just like, I'll test it. So I'll see like what the dates are. And if they say like what it really is and the truth. So I guess why I'm even thinking about that is because you said, go here and look for answers.
Yeah.
So here I am being like, oh, well, what do you, what's this, that? And because I did ask about, other people in the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it would give me answers. So I had to write them all down to see if things are going to come true. Like, like how
did your experiment have any concrete conclusions or? Like, were they accurate or?
No, they were pretty good when it had to do with right now, not really a future thing yet. I don't know. I even had it going on for 4th of July because I had family over. So we were like all at a table and I put the bell in the middle. And they were just like asking questions because it's our family members. They were asking questions. So my father just passed away in December. So this is kind of like a whole year of first holidays, like without him and stuff. So he was there with us and everything, so like the family members were all asking him questions and hoping that it's him. We don't see him, so it's just like you kind of have to go off of these bells and the answers that you're getting. So I don't know, but it's been really weird. This is what I've been doing.
Right.
I've been a little quiet, but I've been moving and stuff like that. So I've been a little quiet, but using this bell because you do with all the equipment, not to get on another subject, but the equipment, people don't, what's that word?
Test it. I don't know. What do you say?
Well, I don't know. It's like another,
By the way, that's what I'm going to start telling Grandma when she's trying to watch me. I'm like, Grandma, I'm just testing my equipment. Get out of here. I'm 46. I got to make sure this shit still works. Get out of here. Totally kidding. But no, like, so, and by the way, what better way to celebrate the birth of our nation than trying to talk to all our dead relatives? I like that too. Happy birthday, America. Where you at, Dad?
Well, so it's, what? It's just like, it's the last year of this house and, and so it was just like it was a nice little wrap up for the holidays with the family and everything. So I mean, it's weird because I'm taking out equipment. Yeah. Well, but the family knows what I do. So it's
right. Yeah. All right. We're on the up and up.
Yeah. That's me.
So, you brought up your dad and you brought up a couple, other, family members and stuff like that. So is this something that you do regularly? Like you try to contact, members of your family who have passed, or is this, and if so, why do you, I think I know why, but why do you do that?
I guess just to, I keep, like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? Are you okay? Things like that. Again, I asked my father about, did you, like when you crossed over, did you have to do like this little slide machine of everything, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, did you? And I'm like, is there a God? Did you see it? But then there was like nothing. So I'm like, are you allowed to tell me like this? So like I'm asking like things like that. But again, I'll have to keep asking the same questions over and over and over again, and then I'll have to ask them to different people because, you know, I don't know. My mind just keeps going like, what's this? What's that? What's that? I don't know.
Well, when you ask them about like the other side or whatever you want to call it, like you said, like you don't really get answers. Like, you know, when you start asking. So I've noticed that over the years too. I've actually talked to people about that on the podcast, like where, you know, you can almost be having a conversation, you know, an informal conversation with one of these ghosts or spirits or whatever. But the moment you start asking about like, well, where are you? Or like, what can you see? Or like, what, like everything just goes silent. Like it, so it you know, then my mind wonders, you know, like when you die, like, is there like some rule? Like you can't discuss this with the outsiders? Like, cause it's weird.
Because I ask, I'm like, are you allowed to tell me? It would say yes. I'm like, well then tell me.
Yeah.
But then,
nothing. I you know, even just basic stuff like, you know, like, are there trees around you? Like, are you are you in a, like, I don't even remember all the questions I've asked over the years, but I have never got a single response to any of them. As a matter of fact, usually that's when the EVP session just dies. The moment I start asking about where are you and what is it like there?
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I did get the hot and cold thing. I'm like, is it really cold? Is it really hot? Like, are you always just like regular? I don't know. Like you know, there's no hot or cold or whatever. And they pretty much said it's just regular. Like there's no hot, there's no cold. It's just always like a perfect, you know, thing. That's the only thing I pretty much got.
Well, wherever that is, I want to live there.
I know.
Like
all the time.
right now. So, you know, we where we are, we're, you know, just a little bit outside of New Orleans down here in Louisiana. And I was driving to work and it's obnoxiously, by the way, it's like cloudy outside. Like it's like almost like vampire weather cloudy.
It's beautiful here.
Oh, I know. You in Fiji. You know what you need? You need one of those little fans that make it look like the wind's like blowing your hair and like a pina colada or whatever your drink of choice is.
Pina colada. Yeah.
Well, I was drinking. I was driving here. I was drinking and driving here. I was driving here, and it was still fucking 98 degrees, completely cloudy. So wherever these ghosts are, you know, not that I want to die, but you know, it sounds like a great place to be, like Southern California. But then Southern California is like hell, like so that can't be heaven.
Nope.
Well, I don't know. We're going to leave. I've been shitting on Los Angeles. I'm not going to make fun of Southern California today, but I see Carter over there like he wants to say something about it. No? Okay.
Do it.
You know, so, you know, like when you are able to make contact with family members, like, I mean, this sounds like such a dumb, obvious question, but like, why does that matter to you? You know, and I think I know it's the same thing for me. You know, over the years, there's only been 3 people that have been really close to me that have passed, and that I'm 99% sure these are the people that I'm talking to because of their voice or whatever. And then my wife, who you also met at Paracon, she was Stephanie, the one running around with the microphone. Okay.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she loves me. She thinks I'm nice.
Well, I hope so.
I mean, for now, like. I'm convinced she's going to divorce me at some point. And then my daughter called me yesterday to tell me that she had a dream that my wife divorced me. She left me and divorced me, which I like in my head, I'm like, well, that makes sense. Not because I'm like a bad husband or something, but
I think you need a piece of equipment and see if if they can tell you.
Oh, she's familiar with my equipment.
Well, I meant another type of equipment, but okay.
Me too. But no, so you know, when we first met, I don't think she really believed in ghosts, or the way she puts it is, I never really thought of ghosts. Like I never had to. It never. But there was a time we were sitting in the living room, and without going into great detail, we got an EVP, or I got an EVP, and after every woman EVP, I would hand her the headphones and hit play. I was like, "Is this your mom?" Because her mom passed away, you know, a couple years ago, and you know, no. But then I gave it to her one time, and she didn't even answer me. She just started bawling right away, like, "Oh my God, that is my mom, 100%. That is my mom." So I like I said, it's one of those questions, you know, maybe for people that have never done this before, to help them understand, like, why is that important to you, and what kind of meaning does that bring to your life to know that, you know, that every time you do an EVP session, there's at least a possibility that these people that were so important to you are still around?
I don't really know how to answer. I just I mean, for me, of course, okay, so my dad just passed and I lost my sister-in-law 2 years ago. So yeah, I want to talk to them because everything is just sudden. So it's kind of like that. Okay, we didn't even finish.
Yeah.
We didn't, so there's that. And also, hey, is there anything that you can tell me? Anything I need to look for or anything, that you want to say to me? And it's not like every day I have this thing on. It's just sometimes when I'm thinking, let me just say hi, and then I'll just put it on. And they're not always here. I guess they can come in and go, obviously, as they please.
Yeah.
And we also do have somebody else that comes in here. We call him Tommy. But I think he lies to us a lot. He gave me a whole story,
well,
but I think he lies to me.
Tommy's one of those names you just have to assume Tommy's lying. It's like Wayne. Like if Wayne tells me something, I'm just going to assume Wayne's lying. I don't even know a Wayne, but just or Kevin. Kevin's always lying too. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Those certain names. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess for me, and so when I go to other people's homes and they see, they're like, oh my God, that was so-and-so, that was so-and-so, they just get so excited. And like your wife, they'll cry, it's very emotional. So imagine if you could just kind of talk to them every once in a while, just to say hi again. I don't know. I just think I love it. I don't know. I just think it's amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to answer it. It's weird. It's amazing. It's intriguing. I don't know.
Well, I think maybe, for me, I also think there's an element of if I die one day, I might live forever. We're working on this, but if
I don't think you want to though, really.
No, well, I do, but only if the people I care about could live forever too. I don't want to like my wife, I need to die first, because if she dies first, when we're in our 80s or something, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to have to join her. I don't know what I would do.
Go together.
But yeah, at the same time, but not in a violent manner,
no.
Laying in bed and we go to sleep and then neither one of us wake up. That'd be the romantic way to go until
that'd be the perfect way to go.
Yeah. Until people find our bodies 2 weeks later. Then that would just be weird. They wouldn't even know where I end and she begins. I don't know. What the hell am I even talking about? Well, no, for me, it's it kind of gives me a little hope, because especially as somebody who's not religious at this point in his life, it's there actually is something, and maybe it's not the religious thing, because I don't know about any of this stuff, but at least the idea that there's something, once you take your last breath, that there's something going on, that kind of gives me hope.
I definitely believe in it. And like you were saying, you can at least, obviously our kids will still be around. So we'll at least be able to come back and visit them and see them. And hopefully they'll take some of my equipment so I can talk to them through that.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's pretty cool too.
I like my little smoke machine I got going on here, by the way. I don't know, it's because of where I'm sitting in the room, the vape stuff just hangs around a little bit longer. I think it's all those things wrapped together. But at the end of the day, I know for some people it can be upsetting to think that one of their family members is still around. But because they don't want to accept that, their belief system might be a little off.
Right. So everybody believes in different things. And all of that and their religions. So I did, every once in a while, people do get upset, well, no, when you die, you're just in the ground. I don't know what you're talking about, know? And then you have another one just no, everybody you talk to is a demon. There's no such thing as angels and spirits. Yeah. Everybody is a demon, so you do get those. And I'm believe what you want. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not here to tell you what to believe in. If I can help you, I will help you, but I can't help you if you're not open to different things. I
Yeah.
can't help you that way.
Yeah. Everything is a demon thing. I mean, there's two groups of those. There's the TV people, everything's a demon, and there's like the religious people, everything's a demon. And both those groups kind of drive me insane a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, not to shit on anybody's religious beliefs, because at the end of the day, like, what the hell do I know? But it's like, if everything was a demon, why would they bring comfort to you? You know what I mean? Like, because there are a lot of ghosts out there. People,
Wouldn't you walk around being
like,
scared as shit, like everywhere you go?
yeah, like everywhere there's a demon. Like,
yeah.
for the religious people. And that's something I've just never wrapped my head around, because, ghosts can be scary to some people, and, they can maybe break your lamp or something. I don't know. But like, at the end of the day, they don't really do anything harmful. I mean, they might mess with your mind a little bit, and I guess maybe that's not a good thing. But, when I think of demons, I think, especially from the religious context, because those are the people that are saying it, like, Satan's little army that's come to corrupt all men. How the hell is something moving or shutting a door in my house corrupting me? You know what I mean? Like that, like that makes no sense to me.
I guess that's another reason why I do it, because I don't, again, going through with what I went through, I want to tell them it's not, don't think that everything is here to hurt you. Like, and I guess that's part of getting the story of that person so that we understand that person, the spirit, the ghost.
Yeah.
And then this way, again, it'll teach them, not everything is scary, ghost hunters, that's what we were trying to do, is to help the homeowners, the business owners or whatever, go through everything and try to teach them it's not scary. It's just so-and-so. It's just, that this is what it is. It's not scary. But it's like all of our work is dead now because you have the new generation coming in saying, oh, it's all scary. It's all scary.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, okay, now we need to figure out how to get these people not to say, I do see like a little, there was like a little thing where the kids were just like, oh, well, we know it's not real, but we're just going to watch it because it's funny and it's, and whatever. But it's like, don't think that it's real though. If you watch it for entertainment, sure, go have at it. I don't do whatever, but just don't believe that it's real. Well, there might be some things that are real, but most of it's just the screaming and yelling. They don't look for anything.
Yeah. I can't even remember who we were talking to recently, but the shit, what was his name? Jake. Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit and how, I'm not going to mention any names because, I try to be friends with everybody and, to each their own. But there were those people that, and you've seen these videos, I know you have, where they're just like in a normal, maybe even slightly haunted house, and they're running around the house, like looking in the camera, like Blair Witch, like, oh my God, this is the scariest place I've ever been. And a door shuts and they all get up and start like, oh my God, we got to get out of here. Like it's just insane. And, there's nothing I can do about it, but it's kind of disappointing on one hand because I feel like it's ruining what people expect when they think of the paranormal. And they're almost, it's like for the longest time, the paranormal was like a spectacle. You know what I mean? Like during the age of like vaudeville, when they're doing like these seance shows and all this stuff, like people believed in it, but they didn't really take it seriously. And then, to give people like you credit that went on TV and put these shows on, and not to kiss your ass or Jason's ass or Steve or any of these guys, because, like they already know I like them. But I think what your guys' shows did, it brought legitimacy to the paranormal. Like you were just talking about this idea of not everything's paranormal, not everything's a demon. And
there's a huge difference. Sorry to a huge difference of we were all paranormal investigators prior to the show. So the show follows us.
Yeah.
They don't tell us what to do, what to say, where to go. They don't tell us anything. We do what we do. They follow us, and that's it. A lot of these other shows are production. Yeah. And so they'll tell you where to go, what to do,
where to see a ghost.
You got to scream, you got to do this, you got to do that. So there's like a huge difference between a lot of that. So we are who we are, and we will not do anything to jeopardize like our integrity, our reputation. Like this is what we do. We investigate and help people before and after the show. Like this is, you know what I'm saying? So I think there was a huge.
Well, my concern is like they're almost going to make a mockery of the paranormal. Like, and people will start thinking once again, like after the work that all these shows and all these people and everything did to legitimize this field, you know, now all of a sudden it's going to become tabloid stuff again. You know, where like everything's super haunted. You know, you got the people, like I said last week, like hyperventilating into paper bags because they're so scared. You know, and that's my concern with all this. You know, to each their own, good for them. But at the same time, I do have concerns that they'll turn the paranormal like into that freak show kind of vibe again. And by the way, most paranormal TV shows are. Okay, let me rephrase this because I'm trying to be friends with everybody, and I want to make sure I get my real opinion out there. I do know of a couple shows in general that are completely fake, like completely fake. So I'm not going to mention any names, but there used to be this show on TV, and it followed a couple paranormal investigators around. I think these paranormal investigators might have been from Texas or Arizona or something. I don't know. Anyway, so we went to a haunted location in Tennessee, and we were doing an investigation. I literally found the fucking script for their show. Like they filmed a show there, and they left us like it was literally a script. Like so and so is going to go down this hallway, and you're going to see you know, a shadow person, and this is what the vibe we need. This is essentially what we need you to say. And the show was actually like decently popular for a couple of years. And then when I saw that, that's when I was like, holy shit. Like this is like literally it was completely made up, like from the beginning of the show to the end.
Telling them where to go. Yeah.
And what was sad is the place they're investigating was legitimately really fucking haunted. Like you didn't have to fake any of this stuff, but I don't like. So after Ghost Hunters stopped the first time, I think it was season 10, 11. After season 11, it stopped for a little bit. And then I started getting some calls, you know, to do other shows, whatever. And the interviews that I did, like one of the ladies stopped the video recording and she's like, this is how I need you to answer that question. I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, but that's not how I feel. Like, that's not mean. And she's just like, well, but that's what we need you to say. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So then she started recording again. She asked it again. And I just said whatever the hell I wanted to say.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I am an investigator. I'm not an actress. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. Obviously didn't get the job, but, you know, and then another one, you know, you can, you know, you, and then this other person, you know, you guys can do the show and everything. And I'm like, there's no way I'm working with this person. There's no way because, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah, paranormal people.
I'm not going to go on TV just to go on TV. Yeah. And then, you know, like, that's not.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go on TV at all. I know I do this podcast. This is like the only time my face ever gets out. I actually prefer to like be completely anonymous. Like I wish I could just have a fake name and people think that fake guy owns Ghost City Tours and I could just go home and play with my lizards, which is not a euphemism. Like I have a lot of lizards at my house. It's a whole center of them. You know, so, you know, like I said, you know, going back to this idea of like you doing the research and stuff, I really wanted to dive in that just a little bit more. And I know I've already kept you like an hour, so I don't want to keep going on forever. But, you know, we talked a little bit about why the research is important to you. But I'm curious, like one, for somebody who does not incorporate research into their efforts into the paranormal, how do you even go about that? Where do you start? Like I know right now everybody just says, you know, Google it. But Google's very often wrong. Is it somebody in the ghost tour industry where we're telling ghost stories? I know for a fact Google is usually wrong. So how do you go about research when it comes to your research in the paranormal? That was an awkward question.
You know, the town hall, the library, historical societies. Yeah, you can only Google so much. I mean, I could Google everything and get it over here, but you have to do these people, you know, that didn't sound right. But you have to go to these people, get the real information, and then you can kind of cross-reference, and then you can ask these questions to these people. Is this right? Is this, so you're kind of working both things together. If there's any neighbors that are willing to talk, because sometimes they'll know the history of the land. The older generation usually knows a lot about that.
Well, what are you even looking for? Are you just looking for names? Are you looking for and also, are you doing the research side of it before you talk to, if you're going to somebody's house, are you going to do the research before you go to their house or after?
I go to their house first. Okay. I would go to their house first. Talk to them to even see what's going on. Like I said, a lot of it's regular things. So I'm not going to do all of that and then go there and then there's just a mouse in the wall, so I'm not going to do that. So I kind of want to see what's going on with them, look at the house, check it out. And usually I like to, I do it different ways just because I work with different people. But we usually like to go investigate for the night, see what we can find. You have, you get some of your information. And then when you go out, do your research, it's always kind of cool to, oh my God, yeah, Tommy. We just talked to Tommy last night and there was a Tommy that died on the land. So, what I'm saying? So you can kind of do that. But then you can also use the research the next time you go there and then use that information also. So that's usually the way that I like to do it. There's different ways people, but what I don't think some people don't understand is that one investigation can last a very long time. You just don't go into one location and the whole story, or all the spirits there, and all the, and then different teams have to go in there. They have different energies or whatever, who likes to talk to who. So yeah, it takes a lot longer to investigate a location to know more of the story.
You mean it's not just a one and done? I'm totally surprised at that. I had no idea. I didn't think that was...
Every location is the most haunted. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, exactly. So when you've been doing this research, only because I know the guys like these kind of questions for clips that they do and stuff like that. Carter's like, yes, ask more of this type of questions. So when you have done research on a location, I'm willing to bet there's one or two locations that really took you by surprise once you started doing the research, where you're like, okay, we thought maybe it was this or that, but the real story is actually a little bit weirder or just in general more interesting than we thought it was going to be. Can you give me an example of one of those?
No.
Really?
Sorry for your clip.
They've all been boring.
Like something different. I told you I got a really bad memory.
That's okay.
Yeah, something that would be really different. I honestly don't know.
Okay, that's fair. That's going to be the best.
Sorry.
We're still going to turn that into a clip anyways.
I don't know.
And at the bottom, they like giving us the little stinger things or whatever those things are called. Like in yours and for this clip, it's going to be Shari, bad memory.
Listen, they make fun of me all the time because I don't know. I blame it on that age thing, that female. Sorry.
Hey, it happens.
Right.
My wife forgets things all the time too. But then she doesn't blame it on me, but she'll do this thing where like, you never said that. I'm like, oh my God, I said it 12 times.
You always got to record yourself.
Well, I mean, it's like funny for us. It's not a big deal. It's not like an argument or something, but it's like, oh my God, how did you forget?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say. By the way, I noticed the other day you put on the bottom of it, Tim hates this segment for one of them. And I got a kick out of that. I was like, yeah, I do kind of hate that segment, but
that must have been the Ghost City Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't say the word gauntlet right. Like,
what is it?
So it's gauntlet?
Gauntlet.
Gonlin? Gon?
Gauntlet.
gauntlet. I don't even know what that is.
Well, you kind of said it like I do, so I feel a little bit better. Maybe we're not. I'm not alone in the world.
I never even heard of the word before. I have no idea.
A gauntlet. It's like a challenge. Like you're throwing down the gauntlet. Is that what it means? Or am I stupid? Did I just expose my ignorance to millions of people?
A gauntlet is primarily a protective glove worn with medieval armor. But key usages and idioms: throw down the gauntlet, to issue an open challenge. This comes from the medieval custom where a knight would throw their armored glove onto the ground to challenge a rival to a fight.
Okay.
Or run the gauntlet, to go through a severe, trying experience like the Ghost City Gauntlet, or to face a series of attacks, criticisms, or tests.
Oh, maybe we should just change the name of it.
Yeah, I mostly named it for the alliteration.
Okay, we'll keep it. I like the hard work you put into things. So we've already been going for like, I don't know, like an hour and 20 minutes. I don't want to keep you forever, Shari. Because it sounds like you're moving and have a lot of other things going on. By the way, where obviously don't tell me where, because we don't want creeps finding out. But like, where do you even live right now? Where are you living that you're moving to or from or whatever? Like,
near Salem, Mass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everybody knows Salem, so yeah.
Are you looking for a job right now? Because Ghost City Tours, we're trying to hire management in the Boston-Salem area for real.
Really?
Yeah. To help manage tour guides and create spooky experiences for people in Salem and Boston and a couple other cities up there. I don't know if you're interested.
I'm right here. We could talk.
All right. I don't know. Maybe you're interested. Maybe you're not. Hopefully it's not one of those situations where after 2 weeks I have to fire you, though, because that would be really awkward. Like, I'd be like, this lady's really cool and she's sweet.
I'm a really good employee.
Well, we're always looking for really good employees because we live in Louisiana where we do have really good employees. But we have a lot of not employees. We have not a good talent pool. Is that an okay way of saying it, Carter?
That is a great way to say it, especially on the media side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're always looking. We're actually hiring all across the country anymore.
My problem is, I told you, I have a bad memory. Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to tell a story.
No. So
I'll bring the equipment. That's what I'll do. I can't tell the stories though.
But we wouldn't need you to tell the stories. We need people to manage the people who are telling the stories.
Oh.
And then help us do research. Funny enough, because we're constantly researching in the cities that we're in, and we're in Salem and Boston, and we're getting ready to open up a couple other cities in that area.
Okay.
So we actually need people to help. I don't know.
You have people in Salem now?
Oh yeah, we Salem. Okay. I mean, I think last year in Salem we ran like 175,000 people on our tours in Salem last year.
Oh, nice!
It's like an insane number. I mean, you know how Salem gets, especially at Halloween and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like, insane. So yeah, I'll shoot you a message. Maybe we can. I'm just like, I love how I'm like the typical CEO, right? I just assume that somebody's looking for a job and they want to work for me. Like, that's what it's like. Oh yeah, I got a job opening. You want to talk about it?
Oh, you're breathing. Come work for me.
Yeah. And in the meantime, she's like, no, I have a job that I actually love. So like, no, I'm not interested.
I have multiple jobs right now. So doesn't matter.
Well,
doesn't matter.
We'll chat. Maybe I'll get your email address or something before we're done, and I'll shoot you a message what we're looking for, because we're actively hiring.
Or at the very least, maybe she can point us in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah, but she has a bad memory. She doesn't. She doesn't remember.
I'll have to look it up first, and then
So Shari, so what are you up to nowadays? If people wanted to keep up with what you're doing, or I know that you go to some of these events and people love to come out and meet you guys. So what does Shari's world look like right now? What are you up to?
Well, besides this, what am I doing? I'm working with a lot of
I forget.
I know, I forget what I'm doing. I've been working with historical societies around here, wanting to help them, get their name out and help raise some money for those locations, because you know how expensive it is to keep up these homes. So I've been doing a lot of investigation events with them.
Right.
And if any local people need help, I'll go and help them investigating. What else am I doing? I actually do work for an engineering firm. So that's another part-time job that I have.
Right.
The
woman of many talents.
So I'm not an engineer, but I've been working with a certain company for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow. Well, you are a good employee then. Half the time I can't get people to stay around for more than 5 or 6 years before they're like, a lot of the times what it is, because, I make fun of Louisiana a lot, and some of it is deservingly so, but there really are good people here. But the problem with it is a lot of them, once they become good people, and that sounds weird because they were good people before, but once they become highly skilled in what we teach them to do, they very often are like, well, shit, now I'm going to move to, Atlanta or, somewhere else. Then they just move away because they don't want to live here either. So that's always our challenge. It's like,
I thought you meant they start their own little.
No, because I would just put them the fuck out of business. Like, I'm happy to help competitors, but not when you used to work for me and you steal everything that I did and try to start your own tour company. I have people do that. That happens probably 2 or 3 times a year. I
bet.
It's funny.
Paul and I have talked about doing this. But here's the tour that we would do. We wouldn't do any sort of ghost tours. We would just do the Paul Dale drunken tour of New Orleans, where he just stumbles and walks you to different bars and dives all across the city.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Well, we have Revelry, right? Like that would totally fit in with Revelry tours.
That might,
the pub crawl.
Paul's pub crawl.
Yeah.
yes, that.
Yeah, because everybody knows Ghost City. 600,000 people a year take our tours. But we actually have a couple other tours companies that we operate that are a little bit smaller, like Revelry tours, and it does like pub crawls and food tours and all kind of stuff like that.
Nice. Oh, that's fun.
So it can be. I wouldn't want to do any of them. I don't like being around people that much. I just want to eat in booth like in the corner. I don't want to eat in front of 15 other tour guests and have to pretend.
I am doing an Ireland. Like it's one of those things on my bucket list.
Yeah.
An Ireland event. It's not until 2028.
Right.
But that's Ireland for 9 days.
Well, hopefully you don't
and stuff.
Hopefully you don't forget about it before then.
Over 2 years from now. But I am trying to do another one for next year. Hopefully Scotland.
Really.
So that's my new thing. Is I want to get out to other countries and investigate those locations. So
that would be fun. I've never left the United States except for to go to Canada twice. Like I just work all the time. I have no time to go to Europe.
I went to Ireland for 8 days 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah? How was it?
It was phenomenal. It was. I was mostly surprised about the food. Here in South Louisiana, we enjoy our food. We're pretty good at it, I'd say. But I was expecting just to have like Irish stew and mashed potatoes the entire time. But no, just I guess being so close, especially these coastal cities, so close to so much of Europe, and that different influences coming in. The food was absolutely phenomenal everywhere we went.
By the way, Irish stew and mashed potatoes actually sounds delicious.
It also is pretty good. I can't lie.
Yes. That sounds good.
I like that because you don't know, but I'm mostly Irish, so like maybe that's like my ancestral genes craving some good Irish mashed potatoes.
Oh, Timmy O'Neill wanted some mashed potatoes.
Yeah, seriously. So if people wanted to keep up with your events and all that stuff, I imagine you have social media and stuff like that. So where can they find you at?
Handle is at Shari Marie 826 SHARIMARIE 826. And then my page is just, you kind of have to look up my name, Shari DeBenedetti.
Right. DeBenedetti. I'm going to remember that. I actually have a pretty good memory. DeBenedetti. Next year, if I see you.
I think you just said it wrong.
No, I didn't.
You said DeBenedetti.
DeBenedetti. Isn't that what I said?
No, wrong.
What the hell?
You're missing a letter.
Which one am I missing?
D at the end.
Wait. DeBenedetti.
Yes.
Isn't that what I said?
DeBenedetti.
Nettie?
That's what you were saying.
I don't know. I think it's maybe just
recorded so we can look back.
Check the tape.
No, I was totally saying it right. That's just my Pennsylvania accent. I'm blaming on the accent.
Yes, the Pennsylvania accent.
Yeah, it's a real thing. People tell me I have an accent. I'm like, no, I don't. But like,
you say bagels wrong.
Yeah, I do. Bagel. It is a bagel.
Bagel.
Bagel. How do you say bagel?
Bagel.
See?
Maybe
Bagel.
it's a Northeast thing.
Maybe.
Why, how is it supposed to be?
Bagel?
Yeah, they say there's an A in there. And I know when you spell it, there's an A in there, like bagel.
Bagel.
But I'd say bagel. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, a bagel.
He says it like egg.
Bagel.
This is going off the rails.
Just a little bit. I mean, we're talking about poking holes in things. Yeah. I mean, bagels. They have holes in them. We're going to make it all work, guys.
Circle back.
Yeah, we're circling back. All right, Shari. Well, it was really great to have you on the podcast today. And I'm sure we could keep going on forever, but I know that you have a life and all that stuff too. And just because I don't have one doesn't mean that I need to make you be my friend for 6 hours and keep talking because I'm lonely. I'm really not lonely. It just sounds funny to say. I'm lonely. Carter's going to clip that.
Tim Nealon, lonely.
No, I really do appreciate you joining us today. And I would love to know, come back in the future, if you have some things going on or, maybe we can go in more depth or, if you do remember to go to your Scotland or Ireland adventures, we can come back and talk about those as well. So okay. I'm sure you're going to remember.
That's on my calendar.
Yeah, that's what Google Calendar's for.
Yeah.
All right, Shari. Well, it's been great speaking with you today and go enjoy the rest of the day in paradise. I think.
Thank you.
Like those waves aren't too bad. You should, go for a swim, Oh,
wouldn't that be nice?
All right. Well, you go do that. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
This episode was brought to you by Ghost City Tours, your guide to the haunted side of history in over 30 cities nationwide. From restless spirits to unsolved mysteries, our tours bring the dead back to life. Book now for a haunted city near you at ghostcitytours.com. Be sure to subscribe to the Ghost City Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, stay spooky.